I just wanted to throw out an invitation. If you're ever out by the airport, you want to see how our operations is run in the weather office, feel free to swing on by. I'll be happy to give you a tour. Before I took on the current position that I'm in, warning coordination meteorologist, I used to work as an incident meteorologist for NOAA, the National Weather Service. So I had the opportunity to go out and support incident management teams all across the nation. I've worked fire from Alaska down to the tundra of Alaska all the way down to the swamps down in the southeastern United States. So just appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak to you guys. When Darren and I were talking about the presentation here, one of the questions that we always get asked is what to expect, especially since we've been in drought conditions. So I'm just going to briefly talk about what to expect going forward, mainly centered on Nebraska because this is our area of concern, but I'll bring it out for all areas, for those of you who are from surrounding states. Now, I do want to talk to you, Darren just delivered a lot of great information to you all about the ongoing drought and what led to the conditions of the ongoing drought. I'm a little more simplistic, and I think these maps kind of show what I need to know. This is the previous year precipitation and temperature across the United States, breakdown by a state level, okay? And you can see first there, it would be on your left, the orange map of the United States. You see, the 48 with a bunch of different numbers. Basically, we have 127 years worth of good climate data across the contiguous 48. So we're ranking basically those temperatures for that state compared to the other 127 years. We have data that goes back to about 1895. And you can see here in Nebraska, we experienced over the last 12 months, 121st warmest year on record. That's pretty significant. You look regionally around us, you can see a bunch of triple digit numbers, okay? Like Kansas, 122nd out of 127th. Oklahoma, 124th. Texas, 126. So it was warm. And we all know, warm conditions tend to increase your fire behavior or your risk for extreme fire growth in times of drought. Compare that with your precipitation and showing the ranks up there. Nebraska over the last 12 months, 16th driest on record. Now I'll be showing you a drought map here in a second, but this is significant, 16 driest out of 127 years. You'll see there are areas, mainly the southeastern part of the state, that did get some good precipitation. But again, if you're looking the entire state, 16th driest. Texas, 5th driest. You can see the entire western United States pretty dry over the last year. And just for comparison, I just wanted to also throw in this map here. This is the calendar year, so basically now 2022. One thing that sticks out is still the warm conditions to our south, which is typically what we see in La Nina conditions, which is what we're currently in, and the dry conditions out west. I think it's going to be an active fire season this fall in California with the driest year so far 8 months on record and 123rd warmest on record, probably so. And I used to look at things like this when I would get dispatched to fires all over the nation to kind of figure out and pre-plan on where I would be dispatched to next. And when I would see this type of thing, it would raise awareness. But even the last 8 months here in Nebraska, 15th driest, that's not something you want to be known for, or 97th warmest. So we have the background now. And I always kind of look at where we were in order to help predict where we're going to. Because believe it or not, predicting the weather is difficult. I mean, we all know meteorologists are 100% correct all the time, right? I'm just going to be honest. I can't tell you what the temperature is going to be here in North Platte tomorrow, okay? My colleagues can because they work the forecast now, but I don't pay attention to that. But if I tried to, I could probably get pretty close, and maybe I can get close 7 days from now, but if we're trying to forecast the weather 6 months from now, that's difficult, okay? That's when I become the professional weather guesser that I am. So when we're looking at a climate forecast, what I really want you all to take away from this is we look regionally, okay? And we look at scales, longer time scales. So I can't tell you on Christmas that it's going to be 32 degrees here and snowing, but I can tell you it's going to be cooler than it is right now, obviously. But when you're thinking of climate forecast, keep that in mind, that we are looking over a broad area and we're averaging out over a time span. So there's a lot of different teleconnections that come into play producing a climate forecast. Now, Darren already talked about the El Nino Southern Oscillation, La Nina Southern Oscillation. That one grabs the media's attention. The media, they hear El Nino. They're like, oh, we got to talk to that expert. But there are so many other teleconnections around the world that impact our weather right here in the central and southern plains, even the northern plains. One of them being the North Atlantic Oscillation. And as climate scientists, we're learning more and more about it, but we're not there yet, okay? There's always room to grow. So don't become fixed on it being an El Nino or La Nina year is what I want to impress on you. I will tell you that our climate models right now are suggesting that we're looking at a third La Nina year. And that could be significant for us here in the central and especially the southern plains. We'll discuss about it a little more. So this is the fall outlook. Now, when we look at these outlooks, what you need to understand is we're looking at thirds, okay? What are the probabilities that temperatures are going to be above, below, or near normal? Okay? So there's only 3 outcomes. We're not talking about exact temperature numbers, just 3 outcomes, above, below, or near normal. And you can see up there on the map, all that orange there across the United States. Here this fall, because of the La Nina conditions and because of conditions out over the North Atlantic, odds would suggest, if you were a betting person, that you were going to see warmer than normal conditions through November. Okay? Not saying we're not going to see cold fronts that come crashing through here and cool things off. We will probably see some snow between now and November. But again, if we average it out, it's going to be warmer than normal. And unfortunately, with precipitation, with the ongoing drought, there's better than average chances that we're going to be below normal. Colorado is an area of concern the climate scientists are looking at because with similar teleconnections that are going on right now, there's greater chances that Colorado is going to see above normal temperatures, below normal precipitation. But again, as a whole across the region, below normal precipitation, above normal temperatures over the next several months. So will that help our drought? Probably not. If your area is in drought right now, you're going to be in drought conditions this fall. Is what I'm standing up here telling you. Let's take a look at winter. And this is where I really earn my paycheck because you see there's a lot of white across Nebraska. And what that means is, I don't know. Let's be honest here. So the climate scientists who are much smarter than me are saying that because there's no clear signal, basically the odds are saying there's a 33% chance that it's going to be warmer than normal, 33% chance temperatures are going to be colder than normal, and then 33% chance that it's going to be near normal, okay? That doesn't give you guys a lot of, well, first of all, how much confidence do you have in climate scientists when we say that? We have a long way to grow, okay? What I'm saying, we got to learn a lot. If you were saying Shawn, and I used to have incident commanders come up to me on fires and say, I want to know. I hired you to be out here and tell me what it's going to be. What is your best guess? My best guess is we're going into a third year of La Nina conditions, more than likely. That's what our forecast models are saying. And with the current Atlantic oscillation, the way that it is, I think we are going to see similar conditions to what we saw last winter, okay? Which means southern plains, most of the central plains below normal precipitation, above normal temperatures. For the northern plains, you're going to get hit by a lot of those clipper type systems that Darren talked about. So those nuisance snows will drop a ½ inch, an inch, not much moisture with it, and a lot of wind, okay? Now, when we meet back here again next year, and I'm totally wrong, be sure and rub it in my face, okay? Because I have thick skin. Bottom line, and I will zoom out, here's the current drought outlook, and I will tell you 2 days from now when you see the next drought monitor, not drought outlook, you're going to see a little more color, I have a feeling, on this map, because even the eastern part of the state is experiencing more flash drought right now. It's been abnormally dry, and there's a lot of concerns now over there. So I think you'll see a lot more color. And going forward, I just don't see anything over the next several months that is going to help our drought, is what I want to pass along to you all. In the wintertime, Nebraska, and I haven't ran the numbers for other states, but we typically only get about 6% of our annual precipitation during the winter months. So even if we get double the amount of precipitation that we get in the winter months that we normally get, it's going to do little to help the drought. So keep that in the back pocket, for planning for your prescribed season. I know prescribed season's now year-round, but keep that in your back pocket. Just to zoom out, because I don't want to ignore. Well, I am ignoring those south of the disking line, so sorry about that. But you can see the central and southern or northern plains. You can see where the drought. And there's certainly some issues and concerns there. Drought Outlook, basically the smart people at the Climate Prediction Center saying, we don't see any improvement, which is what I said. So with that, let's have some fun and talk about climate change. Who's with me? Okay. Was this active fire season that we saw across the central and southern plains, was it a result of climate change? And here is that's the million-dollar question. Here's your answer. It's still too early to tell, okay? But what I can tell you as a climate scientist, and I know many of y'all probably have seen this, and I can also tell you as a wildland firefighter when I did that for 15 years, we are seeing the number of these events increase. We're seeing the scope of the events increase, the intensity increase, and certainly, the period of them increasing. So, no, we can't say that this active fire season was a result of climate change, but, there is a lot that's going on, and it has a lot of people concerned that we need to pay attention to. So what is the likelihood? Let's not debate the why, because climate change is just like politics. We have our sides that we want to stand on. Let's not debate the why. If climate change is real, you can expect more variation. What we are seeing as meteorologists, me and my colleagues within the National Weather Service, is we're seeing the frequency of these events, it's increasing. And weather is just the Earth's response to put the climate back into balance. So if you're disrupting the balance, you're going to see more extreme events if climate change is real. And that's just what I'm going to say. So that could mean more record-breaking cold temperatures, warm temperatures. It can mean more dry seasons or drier seasons that we've normally seen. That can mean invasive species moving up further north to areas that didn't grow. So I want to leave you with this, because I probably, just distance myself from half the population here, and the other half is like, okay, yeah, I can believe that. What I want to leave you with is ask yourself, why do we do prescribed fire? We do prescribed fire to get desired results, to bring fire back into ecosystems that hasn't had fire in years. These ecosystems that had fire return intervals of 2 to 7 years, or 20 years. We do it to bring balance back, okay? What I want to say about climate change, let me backstep. We do prescribe fire because we tend to be in control. We're the ones who are putting fire down on the surface. We're the ones who are deciding, are the weather conditions, within my prescription where I can get the desired results. We can put fire and have a fire back down the topography rather than it racing up a hill. We can be in control. That's why we do prescribed fire. And with climate change, we can either let Mother Nature be in control if climate change is real, or we can try to make some mitigation actions to help with that. And you all are doing that with prescribed fire. So with that, I'll leave you. If you have any questions, feel free to come up and I'll be around.